Did you know that 70% of professional photographers started out as hobbyists? Now that is a true testament to turning your passion into a thriving career. What's going on, y'all? So I go by Exuberant Mind. I started my photography journey at 8 years old. And actually, this was my first camera. This is the Polaroid One Step Close-Up, Take 600 film. This was my first camera that I ever shot a picture on. Also, I shot on disposable cameras growing up as well. So, with that said, my first model was actually my mom. Yes, my mom was a professional model back in the day. So, the challenges that I faced as a young hobbyist photographer, first of all, was my young age. I was only 8 years old. So nobody really took it super serious that I had an eye for photography at a young age. Also, I'm from Toledo, Ohio, and we are not known for photography at all. Most of all, on the news, we're known for all the bad things that can happen to a person out on these streets. And there aren't a lot of photographers to look up to, especially now when I was growing up here in Toledo. So for me, I didn't have a lot of self-doubt as a kid, but I was sure that I didn't know exactly what I wanted to be when I was growing up. I just knew I wanted a wife, kids, a white picket fence, and a dog. Like, that's all I knew as I was growing up. And even at high school age, I still didn't really exactly know exactly what I wanted to do. So my introduction to art was through my mom. She used to give me pen, paper. We used to draw before I went off to kindergarten and stuff like that. So once I got into kindergarten all through high school, I really liked art. That was always something I was interested in. So I did sculptures, paintings, different kind of chemical burn arts, all kind of different things, and growing up in school. So I did that. And the only thing about that was there were no photographers around me, so I didn't really practice photography like that. I always just used my natural eye, so I didn't get a chance to develop a unique style at an early age, because once again, I was a kid, nobody was going to take me serious. So, and also, my family didn't have the financial resources to, be out there buying all these rolls of film and buying all these cameras. So I didn't have that luxury. I had the good old Polaroid and whatever disposable camera my mom would get every once in a while. So that's how I got my introduction into the art space. Now, as far as me developing my skills, I would say that kind of started when I went off to the military. Right after high school, I went right into the military, right into the medical field, but we went right into a war as soon as I joined. So that was my life. But I also just kept a camera around all the time. So the places I traveled out of country, took photos. And also when I was in the States and different places, wherever I was moving in the States, I took pictures there also. So as for me, when I started to get more prosumer cameras, I always shot them on manual. I was always a person that wanted to take the hardest route to learn something. As far as things like that, technology-wise, I'm a little bit of a tech geek, so learning the camera manually helped me kind of figure out when a photo didn't go the way I wanted. I knew how to fix it and all that good stuff. And it's maybe a harder learning curve than others, but hey, I did it and I practiced all the time, and I got better and better as my photography skills grew. So as we went from DSLR cameras into like more mirrorless cameras, I really was on YouTube University learning about all this new technology that was coming out. I was such a fanboy of, the autofocus on the Sonys and things that were coming out. I always watched all the embargo videos that came out on all these pieces of tech. So that helped me as well learn where photography was going in the future, and staying on top of the curve. So I did that. And also, as I become more of a seasoned hobbyist, I started doing meetups, going to meetups and meeting other photographers out there and learning more about the photography game. So I did all that, and then I got my first taste of a professional photography conference. At the time, I was going to school in Georgia State down in Atlanta. Shout out to those Georgia State Panthers. when I was going to school down there. So I was able to walk from class in between classes and go check this conference out. And that right there really gave me my professional bug to, really get into photography and really go super hard on the professional end. So that kind of, started me off. But, the hardest part of the whole development stage and the exploration stage was investing in gear. I know a lot of us deal with gear acquisition syndrome. Maybe I might have had it a little bit, but for me, the most part of me investing in my own gear was I didn't want to be borrowing people's gear and relying on people's gear. I didn't want to actually go out there and be renting from a rental house either. I figured if I go rent a camera from a rental house multiple times, I probably would have spent enough money to buy it. So I really invested in my gear over time. And it took me quite a bit of time to build that up. You have life going on, but I did it, and it was being super disciplined at the time, and that cost me a lot of relationships because I was super disciplined on building up my gear and not having to go out there borrowing from other people. That it cost me some relationships. Say sometimes you're dating girlfriends and things like that, and most time for us fellas, when you got a girlfriend, they want you to spend your money on them, but they're not going to spend it on you. But that's killing your future right there, because you're not able to invest in your gear. So I did that. Lost relationships. Oh well, too bad, so sad. I have no regrets. So now I can do whatever I want to do in photography and video because I invested in my gear. So that's one major thing I always tell people: invest in your own gear. If you're out there buying Jordans and all that stuff, you can, stop buying Jordans, stop buying so much Starbucks, and you can invest in pieces of your gear. Over time, it's going to be in your benefit. So my key moment of trying to really, push becoming a professional photographer over being a hobbyist was when I was diagnosed with a very large brain tumor. It was the largest tumor my doctors ever seen, and they were practicing like over 30 years. They were like, they've never seen nothing like it. So that was a pivotal point in my life right there. And I really had to decide on the next steps that I was going to take moving forward in life. And if I really wanted to do something I enjoyed until my time was up on this planet. So at the time, I didn't know what was going on with the tumor, if it was going to, take me out eventually or whatever. But I had decided on, I'm going to pursue art. That's the one thing that I love doing that I can do forever is create art. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to do art for the rest of my life. But I really started to get more serious about realizing the career potential for that, because I had to medically retire from my job in the medical field, federal government at the time. I was doing really well for myself. But I had to figure out that, hey, I had to let that go and move into the next chapter. So throughout my journey of becoming a professional photographer from being a hobbyist, I had to learn to, have the courage to dare to be greater. Like that is one major thing that I believe every person has to learn in their life. And then, you have to persevere through all these obstacles and things like that. And you really have to let life's lessons be used as motivation. Unfortunately for me, I'm a father that has to deal with, a mother keeping him from seeing his children. That's something that I've had to deal with since my first son, Julian, was born. He turns 18 on the 13th of December. So I've had to deal with that his whole life. For me, it was, my boys were always my motivation. My oldest son, my second son right after him, Corbin, shout out to them. They was always majorly my motivation in life moving forward. That's how I got to, keep on grinding, and I got to be working in the federal government in the medical field. Like, man, that was a journey from a poor Ohio kid to make that leap and reach those heights and be a person that saved people's lives numerous times, things like that. That is something that, you use life lessons to get to that point. And also you have to test your limits. This year, you know, I have 3 boys all together. My youngest boy just turned 3 on the 23rd of this month. So with that said, I wanted to do something special for this year. So my motivation was I need to get in 3 exhibitions. So I did that. I got in 3 professionally curated exhibitions. These were all exhibitions curated by either professional photographers and museum curators. So I've had that, you know, repertoire of photos that I built up over time. And I use that to test the limits to see really how good am I. Let me go up against some of the great artists out here in the world in present day and see what I can do. And for me, it panned out. 3 back-to-back shows that span like 4 months. So, and that's just symbolizing me testing my limits, trying to test my greatness and build my legacy, so my sons can look up to that or look past that when they achieve even better things. So, and then also you want to find your tribe. Now, if you're a hobbyist, you want to go to like more TFP shoots. You want to go to meetups, things like that, meet, you know, photographers of your ilk. But if you're really into, you know, trying to push forward into professional photography, you know, you go to professional photography conferences and things like that. So, you know, you go reaching towards those heights. And when I did that, you know, I caught the bug. So that's how I got to where I am today. All right, guys, so y'all heard my story on how I became a professional photographer from being a hobbyist. Now, tell me your story. Like, what motivates you on your photography journey? Leave the comments down below. Let's have a conversation about it. Everybody feel free to chime in. Now, if you like the video, give your boy a like. Also, if you would like to share this video with another photographer out there that you want to motivate, share the video. We all like hearing about experiences and moving forward in our profession. All right, y'all have a good one, and I'll check y'all next time. Peace. Oh, before we go, if y'all want to check out some more videos, check these 2 out above.